Tweedledum and Tweedledee. They were standing under a tree, each with an arm round the other's neck, and Alice knew which was which in a moment, because one of them had Dum embroidered on his collar, and the other Dee.
I suppose they've each got Tweedle round at the back of the collar.
They stood so still that she quite forgot they were alive, and she was going around to see if the word Tweedle was written at the back of each collar when she was startled by a voice coming from the one marked Dum.
If you think we're waxworks, you ought to pay, you know. Waxworks weren't made to be looked at for nothing. Nohow. Contrariwise. If you think we're alive, you ought to speak. I'm sure I'm very sorry,
was all Alice could say, for the words of the old song kept ringing through her head like the ticking of a clock, and she could hardly help saying them out loud.
Tweedledum and Tweedledee agreed to have a battle. For Tweedledum, said Tweedledee, had spoiled his nice new rattle. Just then flew down a monstrous crow, as black as a tar barrel, which frightened both the heroes so they quite forgot their quarrel. I know what you're thinking about, but it isn't so, nohow. Contrariwise. If it was so, it might be, and if it were so, it would be. But as it isn't, it ain't. That's logic. I was thinking, which is the best way out of this wood? It's getting so dark. Will you tell me, please?
But the fat little men only looked at each other and grinned. They looked so exactly like a couple of great schoolboys that Alice couldn't help pointing her finger at Tweedledum and saying,
First boy, nohow.
Tweedledum cried out briskly and shut his mouth up again with a snap.
Next boy,
said Alice, passing on to Tweedledee, though she felt quite certain he would only shout,
Contrariwise.
And so he did.
You've begun wrong. The first thing in a visit is to say, how do you do? And shake hands.
And here the two brothers gave each other a hug, and then they held out the two hands that were free to shake hands with her.